What's good, everybody? This is your boy Ced Banner, and this is my review of Stephen King's It. So not a lot of background needed. This, of course, is a remake of a miniseries that was based on a novel written by the great Stephen King, one of the more popular horror franchises there are. And all it's had was, like I said, the mini TV series, which was in the, I believe, early 90s. It may have been like around 1990, if I'm not mistaken. So like with every remake, I was nervous. I think most horror fans were nervous, especially Stephen King fanatics. This is something that could have easily been a complete mess. Not to say that the original was such a great classic, but I think the subject matter, and of course, you know, how you have so many people who are afraid of clowns, it really carried the franchise to heights that has allowed it to survive the test of time. So let's jump right into it with the pros. My first pro obviously is the actor chosen to play the star, Pennywise the Clown. That was probably one of the more important parts of the process for this entire remake, and I think that they nailed it. Bill Skarsgård plays him, a relatively unknown. He's had a lot of smaller roles in previous films over the past decade, I believe, but this is his first real major role, and starring role, and he kills it. And I think the great thing about it is he doesn't overplay it. He could have easily been way over the top. He's already a creepy guy. If you look him up, you'll see he's already a creepy looking guy. You didn't have to do much, but put him in that makeup, and there was some CGI added to the facial features and the eyes. It all worked together very well, I thought. Another pro is the casting overall, all relatively unknowns. This is different from the original. In the original miniseries, we start off with preteens, a group of friends who come back to fight the entity It once they're adults. And in this situation, this is just covering them as preteens. So it's a little different, but the casting I thought was great. It kind of puts you in the mindset of some of the movies, you know, my generation watched growing up, The Goonies, Stand By Me, films like that. Another pro, I have to say, the cinematography, the scenery, the entire atmosphere that's created here on film was excellent because it's old school. It's set in the late 80s. I think we start off at 88 if I'm not mistaken in the film. But the film is shot that way. And anyone who's a fan of horror films probably hates how most of the current films now are just so cheesy and cheap with the scares. And with all of the CGI. Well, this film does have some CGI. It has its share, but it's used in a way that it meshes so well with the old school environment that's created. And I really enjoyed that. That's probably what kept me most engrossed in this film. And lastly, the last pro I'll mention is the writing. The writing, I think, was the most important thing here because I think over the past 3 or 4 years from what I read, there were a lot of rewrites. There were a lot of parts of the script removed and rewritten, which usually spells disaster. But in this case, it was put together just right, I thought. The pacing, you know, I'm always big on pacing. I thought the pacing was very solid throughout. May have been a few slow points towards the end. But clocking in at a little over 2 hours, I thought that it was done as well as it could be done. There's plenty of scares. There are a lot of laughs. For me, it was more of a comedy because clowns have just never really scared me outside of killer clowns from outer space. That's from back in the day. But the original It didn't scare me. I just enjoyed it. And this was the same. I enjoyed it. It was funny. It was fun. It was exhilarating. It was nostalgic. Just a lot of great things here that can be listed as pros. And let's jump into my cons, being that I really don't have any. And I know that's kind of the running thing over this summer for me, but I enjoyed it. I tried to find things wrong with it. I guess if I had to come up with a con, I would say that some of the scenes that were meant to be, I guess, heartfelt or touching or whatever, felt more cheap than anything. But again, I don't even know that can really be listed as a con because once again, this film was started off in 1988 as far as the setting. It was intentionally shot to mimic, you know, the films created at that time, and we all know those films had their very extremely cheesy moments. So even that fit in. I don't have any cons. Two more things I'll tack on to the end here. One could be considered a pro and the other a con, but I think they're worth mentioning. First one, the one that could be considered a pro is I think this film definitely consists of at least two scenes that will probably be considered classic scenes in the entire horror genre, which is huge. Is, you know, when you consider that this is a remake of a classic. You don't really hear that happening, but namely the one scene that involves Pennywise the clown and the projector. If you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have not seen it, you will know as soon as it happens. That scene was, I think it's going to scare the crap out of a lot of people who may already be afraid of clowns. People like myself who are not afraid of clowns, it wasn't really a scary scene, but it was just creepy and it was unexpected. It was really over the top, but in a good way. And I like that, and I think that's definitely a classic scene. And the second thing that I consider a con is, and this isn't a spoiler, people have already been posting about it. It looks like it's going to be a series that continues. So, you know, here we go with the sequels. Already not a huge fan of sequels, especially with horror flicks, but when you're talking about a remake and you did so well with the initial effort, I think you should leave it alone and leave it as is. But it looks like they're going to continue it. This was chapter 1, so we're probably going to get at least 2 more chapters. I'm not excited about that, and I don't really think that's a great idea, but it is what it is. So, my rating for Stephen King's It is very good. You know, I don't have anything fancy or elaborate to name it. It's very good. It's solid. You know, everything I've already said. It's a horror remake, and I think it may be better than the original. I think it definitely is, actually. It's solid. It's funny. It's nostalgic. It's creepy. It's well cast. It's just a very good movie. So if you haven't seen it and you've been wondering if you should or have second thoughts, my recommendation is go. I think it's one that will be rewatchable throughout the years around Halloween as well. So that concludes my review of Stephen King's It. Until my next review, hey,